The final installment in the Prime Trilogy changes shit up in a big way. Mechanics are brought over, but changed to suit the more epic nature of this game. Beam swapping has been replaced with beam stacking, there's only one major suit upgrade, and it even adds a new mechanic that kind of sort of trivializes the entire game. I mean, let's just finish off this trilogy. It's been too long. The game begins with Samus being called aboard the GFS Olympus. There, she and 3 other bounty hunters, Gore, Rundus, and Gandrada, are informed they must find and retrieve a stolen Aurora unit, an organic supercomputer that was infected by space pirates. As the meeting is concluding, the Olympus is attacked by more space pirates, and everyone just scatters. As Samus, you find your way back to your ship, saving soldiers along the way, and you find out the pirates' attack isn't just on the Olympus, but also on the planet below, Norian. When you arrive on Norian, you have one objective: turn on the 3 defense generators and turn the defense system back online. This needs to happen because there is a giant phazon meteor heading towards the planet. You bring 2 generators online and are attacked by Ridley because of course you are, while Rundus brings 1 online by himself. The 4 bounty hunters make their way to the control room. As they arrive, they're interrupted by Dark Samus herself? Itself? I think it's itself, since it's just a mutated Metroid that's like 90% phazon at this point. She takes out all the hunters in one powerful phazon blast and escapes because for some reason she can fucking fly. Samus is the only one with enough strength to activate the defense system before passing out for 1 whole month. After awakening, she is told that her body is now self-generating phazon, and to take advantage of that, they have enhanced her Varia suit to incorporate this phazon into her arsenal. In gameplay terms, it makes you invincible and your attacks do a fuckload of damage now, in exchange for using health as ammunition, which isn't a big deal, because you're invincible. The other 3 hunters awoke 2 weeks prior to Samus, and were sent to other planets that were struck with a phazon meteor, and 1 week after that, they lost contact with all of them at around the same time. Now that Samus is awake though, she is sent after them to figure out what happened and to destroy the phazon seed that crashed into the planet to stop the phazon corruption. Metroid Prime 3 is the most linear game in the trilogy. While there is still the classic Metroid backtracking, there is much more focus on the story this time around. Especially since this is the first game in the entire Metroid series to feature voice acting. Nintendo really wanted to flex their voice acting muscles in this game, and I think they did a pretty good job, honestly. There does seem to be a lot less opportunity to sequence break, however, which is by no means necessary, but it is still really cool to see what skilled people can do in these games to just completely rip it apart. You still have the classic energy tanks and missile expansions, and the obligatory Prime end-of-game force backtracking collectible that honestly isn't too bad in this game. In the previous 2 Prime games, you need to collect the Chozo artifacts or the Sky Temple keys, respectively, and in this game, its energy cells are used to explore the rundown GFS Valhalla. You actually don't need all of them to get what you need out of the ship in order to beat the game, and that's an amazing change. Now, you can get all 9 for 100% completion, but this change makes replaying the game a lot more bearable. The gameplay for this game is radically different from the previous 2 entries in the Prime Trilogy. If you are counting the original releases, that is, because Prime 1 and 2 were on the GameCube, and use a tank control system, which works really well even today in my opinion. But with the jump to the Wii, not only is this the best looking game in the series, and even one of the best looking Wii games out there in general, but it also had a completely different control scheme. It now uses the Wiimote for a point and shoot style of gameplay, which makes turning a little more awkward, but other than that, feels great to play, even by today's standards. It also fits the more action-based nature of this title. Now, as I mentioned in my Prime 2 review, the Prime Trilogy makes the original 2 games have this same pointer control scheme, and it does make the games more approachable as a result. If you would like to get into these games and are just generally turned off by Metroid games, I would start with Prime 3. It holds your hand more than the previous 2 Prime games, which is a downside if you prefer a more figure-it-out-yourself approach. But come on, James, you can't like Castlevania and hate Metroid if this style of game is Metroidvania! You little bitch. Prime 3 specifically means the most to me because it's the one I played the most growing up. As for a time, I didn't have a GameCube memory card to put in my Wii, so I couldn't save my Prime 1 save data. So I just played this over and over again trying to get 100%, but failing because I refused to look shit up. I would rate each game in the series, but I don't think that'd be fair because I've only beaten Prime 2 once and I have the least amount of experience with it. And, you know, that was back when I did my review on Prime 2. After a few more playthroughs of each, though, I think I could give my thoughts on the trilogy in general while comparing it to the original 2D games. But that's a video idea in store for the future of this channel. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Thank you guys for watching another episode of That Game Review Show. I wanted to take a quick look at Prime 3 and I'm also kind of started this videos late. When you have to convert all your footage from MKV to MP4, it really slows down your workflow. But personally, I think it looks much better without YouTube compression, so I might keep doing it. We'll see you next week when James dives further into his love-hate relationship with a game franchise he used to adore. You know, because James works too much.